So let's say I'm finding out this body is way too long and I want to shorten the body. I may feel stuck because see this how this goes nicely, forms the back of the body and then comes down and forms the bottom. It's not a big deal with golden ratio design. You can get a smaller circle and you can find a different curve to follow. So I'm going to go ahead and try to shorten this body a little bit. Just going to line this up. See, I'm kind of lining the circle up here, but also down here. And we can follow this circle. So this follows this one right here all the way down. And then we could start to change and it can follow this one now. So I could shorten the body. So it's really just following those curves. As long as you follow those curves and they're all within the golden ratio, it's all fair game. And I'm just subtracting points if I have too many. And I could even subtract this tail and do the tail at another time. That might make it a little bit easier. I could just add that tail in with the Shape Builder tool or the Pathfinder tool. Let me smooth all this out. Then get that. I love the curvature tool because it just helps me match the curves when I do this kind of work. So now we have a shorter body and we can go ahead and toggle that on, kind of see how that's starting to form. If we wanted to, let's go ahead and move this, make sure that's on the top. You could see that, how the rounded head. You could always make the head bigger or taller. You just combine those circles and find opportunities to use them. And also make sure you keep the circles that are being used. So if you have any circles that aren't being used for a curve, delete them because it can be a crazy mess if you have something super complicated. So I think all of these circles are being used on some curve at some point. Let's just take it in another direction just to continue to practice. I erased the tail and we're going to try to make a little penguin shape out of this. I think we got a really good body for a penguin, a nice big fat body. So, you know, a lot of penguins have this little white kind of curve on their chest. And once again, the golden ratio can come in handy kind of trying to find where that curve would start and begin. We could do it here and have it become this little area right here. We can get an even bigger circle and try to find the curve that way. So maybe right about here. And what I like to do is find another opportunity to line it up with another circle. So see how this lines up right there at the tip of the nose? So that could be a good location. And you could also use the Shape Builder tool to draw and subtract the shape as well. But I'm just going to draw it here real quick on top. Go ahead and make that a solid color. We can go back and fine tune where it bends using the curvature tool. Whatever tool you like to use. If you just like using the pen tool, nothing beats the curvature tool when you're trying to do curves though. And we can make this a different color. We can make it a little bit lighter so we can kind of know what shape it is and send it behind. You can also put the circles on another layer so you don't accidentally select that. Yay, and now we can create little feet and we got our little penguin icon. We can even create an eye with the golden ratio. Let's go ahead and go and get 2 of these little ones. Let's go ahead and grab all 3, bring them over. And what I'd like to do is see how these kind of cross over here. We could put the eye in that location. Seems like a natural fit. Put it right here. Okay, we can make that a fill, a solid fill. Maybe use this color. All I have to do is add some feet, and I think we have a little penguin icon here. So I went back and I added just a little bit of a foot there, just drew a foot shape. You can kind of see the shape that I drew, and just added a circle to kind of get the curve of the paw or the foot or whatever you call it on a penguin right there. And then I just added like a little tail and used this curve to get kind of the downward slope of the tail. So with all penguins, this penguin doesn't have any wings, so let's add maybe a little flap of wings here. So we can take 2 of these circles and see what might make some good overlapping wings. So I'm just going to copy and paste the same size. And see these overlapping, I'm going to go ahead and make them a different color so you can start to really see them. So you see kind of the overlap that I made here with the circles. And that's how you use the golden ratio, is finding those overlapping objects. So let's say I want to, instead of having to draw over that and do all that, I could just take the Shape Builder tool. Of course, I'm going to copy and paste because I want to keep those circles as a reference. And I'm going to do a fill on that and then just subtract it. and now I have my wing. And now I can make it the same color here and go ahead and keep these circles here for a reference guide so I could show people how I came up with that shape. And what's really cool is now that I have this shape, I can find a way to maybe position it or angle it a little different so it matches up with the already existing circle. So you see this circle right around here. I'm going to see if I can't just bring it down just a little bit so it kind of overlaps and intersects. So at least there's some kind of connection with the other circles. So this looks like a hot mess, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead, and you can always put these on different layers so you can toggle off your golden ratio circles and not affect the penguin. So let's see what we have here. So here's our penguin taking shape, and I decided to extend this white belly portion all the way up through the neck after looking at some reference photos of penguins. So it's really good to kind of check on a real photo just to kind of see in terms of their anatomy how it looks. So I just kind of did that, and I used the golden ratio as inspiration. I also switched out the colors, started to put some coloring into our icon if we wanted to add colors. So I'm going to toggle on my golden ratio layer here so I can toggle it on and off. And I made it a nice color that's going to have a nice high contrast so I can kind of see kind of what's going on here with all these different overlapping circles. And what I did when I zoomed in here, you can kind of see my inspiration for doing some of the curves of the neck. So I used this circle to kind of do the curve all the way up, and then used kind of curves to go down. So just kind of using the golden ratio already existing circles to create additional shapes. So there you have it. I also have a shadow here that I cast. That's just a little extra thing I did. And we did this in about 20 minutes or so. So not bad for a little icon in 20 minutes with a big help from the golden ratio. And so a lot of times I'm going to go ahead and lock this layer. Now I just have my golden ratio circles. And what I want to do is I want to select my circles, and you'll see this a lot done with golden ratio logos. As I'm in my stroke panel, and I'm going to click on dash line. So I'm going to click on dash line. It's going to make them all dashed, and we're going to make it a much tighter dash. So let's go ahead and make it a 2. And so you can kind of see, when you see the dashes, you can kind of make out the circles a lot easier. And I'm even going to adjust the color just a little bit. There we go. So now people can have a better idea of kind of where these intersecting circles are. Just the dotted lines just kind of help guide the eye a little bit better. So there you go. I'm just going to add a little bit of color and pizzazz and have a final presentation for our little penguin icon. So that's kind of the basics of how the golden ratio works.